Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to our January Abortion Healing Provider webinar. We're so grateful to have you here with us. I am Kylie Heap. I am the Executive Director of Support After Abortion. This year marks our 5th anniversary of Support After Abortion since we became an independent 501c3 nonprofit in the spring of 2020. We kicked off with a huge virtual provider training that was in part informed by research that we had commissioned to learn about how abortion impacts women and men. And we've used those findings to form our work, including our options-based approach to offering healing that meets people where they're at. We've learned a tremendous amount about caring for women and men impacted by abortion, and a lot has changed in the abortion landscape over the past 5 years. So, we're very eager to conduct updated research and invite you into this journey with us. So today's webinar is a listening session for our 2025 research project. It's going to be pretty different from our usual webinars, so if you're a first-time attendee, you just hang with us and make sure you come back next month. We're going to start with a look back at our original research projects to give us all kind of a launching point for our discussion today. And then we're going to divide into breakout rooms so that we can have smaller groups of us together and really have a chance to talk and share. We want to hear your suggestions and your ideas for what you might want to include in this new project. I am so excited to introduce Michelle Maslin to you today. She is our communications manager, and she's going to share a look back with us. We're going to hear from Michelle in just a moment, but I want to share a little bit about her background. She holds a bachelor's degree in international business and an MBA with an emphasis in marketing. She has over 35 years of communications and marketing experience. She's completed courses in survey reporting and questionnaire construction and design with the Burke Institute. Michelle and her husband have personally navigated the heartache of reproductive loss, including 3 miscarriages and stillborn twins, giving her a truly compassionate perspective on our mission. In her role, Michelle leads much of our work with research, and she'll be spearheading this new initiative. So without further ado, let me introduce Michelle Maslin.
As Kylie said, my name is Michelle Maslin, and I'm communications manager. If you've been around Support After Abortion for any length of time, I am sure you have heard us speak about the importance of meeting people where they are. This is crucial because accommodating client preferences yields better outcomes. And the way we learn client preferences is by asking questions. This is true in your intake process, it's true in our after abortion line intake process, and it's true in our research process. Support After Abortion commissioned 2 research studies in our first year as an independent nonprofit. The first was on the impact of medication abortion on women, and the second was the impact of abortion on men. I joined Support After Abortion a few months after the second study was completed and have been immersed in analyzing the data, creating our white papers, and presenting our findings. As Kylie said, I'm going to take a few minutes to walk you through these 2 studies. Another thing you've probably heard us talk about a lot is our options-based approach to after-abortion healing. We call this graphic our healing options wheel. It illustrates our options-based approach to meeting clients where they are with the type of care they prefer. As we walk through these 2 studies, you'll see how the key findings formed our options-based approach to supporting people who are struggling after abortion. We asked if they would prefer religious or non-religious care. Only 16% of women and 40% of men wanted a religious approach to after-abortion support. This led to the realization that without secular options, we cannot reach the vast majority of people impacted by abortion. As a result, we created both religious and secular abortion healing materials and training for providers to offer both options. We asked if they would prefer a licensed counselor or someone who had a similar experience. A third of women and almost half of men wanted a licensed counselor, while almost half of both prefer a peer. This key finding led to our offering and encouraging providers to offer both clinical and peer-led options for abortion healing. We asked how important anonymity is in seeking after-abortion support. We learned it is significantly important to nearly 3/4 of both women and men. This key finding led to our offering anonymous ways to reach out for support and offering virtual support groups and encouraging providers to do so too. We asked if the respondents had experienced a change in themselves after their abortions. We learned that 1/3 of women and over 70% of men were negatively impacted in some way. This result for men was eye-opening and led us to create materials specifically geared for men, including both Keys to Hope and Healing and Unraveled Roots. We learned whether or not they had sought support, and if so, how long after their abortions. If they did not seek help, we asked if they thought they could have benefited from talking to someone. We learned that the majority of women and men either tried to find help or said they could have benefited from support. We asked a number of questions related to seeking support. For example, we asked how they would search for help. This was a multi-choice answer format, and the top 2 responses were website search and asking friends. Interestingly, among the lowest for both women and men were asking a clergy or religious person or a faith-based counselor. We asked what keywords they would use to search online. There was a multitude of responses. 2 of the most often repeated ones were abortion help and abortion grief. And we asked if they were aware of agencies or organizations that offer support. Only 18% of both women and men knew of any place to go for help. We also asked if they had talked about their abortion experiences with other people and what kind of responses they received. We asked if the respondents considered themselves to be pro-life or pro-choice, and if their views have changed over time. These questions enabled us to cross-reference views about abortion and whether or not they reported a change after abortion, and whether or not they sought support or said they could have benefited from talking to someone. The findings showed that both pro-life and pro-choice women and men are impacted by abortion, and the majority want support. We offered a list of religions and Christian denominations, as well as atheist, agnostic, and none options, and asked if they currently belong to any and if they were raised in a different faith. We also asked how often they attend services. This allowed us to see the religious makeup of the respondents and the need to reach people outside of church and religious settings. Cross-referencing these data allowed us to see the impact of abortion and the desire for help among religious and non-religious individuals. We asked who made the abortion decision. This showed that women made the decision in nearly all cases, and that men were part of the decision less than half of the time. We also asked if they felt they had a voice in the decision. 9 out of 10 women and 5 out of 10 men said yes. We asked a number of questions about their lived experiences, including types of reproductive losses, was it first reproductive loss, type of abortion, time since the abortion, was the abortion experience consistent with their expectations and with what the clinic said to expect? Was there a reason for choosing the abortion pill versus surgical procedure? And were they satisfied with the decision to take the pill? We gathered basic demographic information, including gender, age range, race, and location. If you would like to learn more, you can find these 2 research studies on our website. Go to supportafterabortion.com, click on the Resources tab, then click on Research. You can then explore the data and white papers for the men's and women's studies, and you can view and download a PDF summary of the findings. We're now going to break into 3 separate Zoom groups. This will allow for us to engage with you more easily and for more people to share their ideas. We'll be recording each of the groups so that we can review all of your suggestions. We're going to be spending the next several months developing our questionnaires, designing our studies, which will then be conducted by a national marketing research company. We hope to be able to share the results before the end of the year.